Good morning, Jello. Good morning to your family here in your company. Okay. Magandang umaga, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to be with you. I'll just share. Magandang umaga po to everyone. It's so nice to be here. It's such a. The more I talk to Jello, or the more I research about your company, the more impressed I am with your company. So today we're going to talk about many things and something that is close to your heart, which is about your family. Okay, so uh, staying at home when the pandemic started. Okay, we were all required to stay home, and then work from home sounded so good, diba? Parang sabi niya, wow, finally, it's so exciting, it's fun, it was like a dream come true. Parang of doing nothing, just chill at home at the start, and you can watch Netflix the whole night, and it's okay. Then it became an extended holiday. Then parang it's like a long weekend holiday, parang extended vacation. Wow, everything looks sounded so perfect. Finally, no more traffic. You can even do your work without wearing your shoes. But now, after about a year and about 8 months, na ba, working from home is not as easy as we thought. Ba? Aside from the need to do our work well, we are faced with a lot of distractions at home, right? Our family members. It is not fun anymore. We realize that the new way of life, okay, working from home and doing our household chores at the same time, seeing our family members day in and day out, okay, it's not fun, and we're stuck with all our family members, each having his or her own realizations. In a family setting, usually we have the grandparents or your parents with you, or you have your siblings with you, or if you have nephews and nieces with you, or sometimes you also have your spouse or your a child or children with you. So being with them 24/7 and then doing your work at the same time, it is not easy. It parang you're stuck with the whole family, and you have to consider every member of your family has his or her own concerns and realizations. They each has his fears, frustrations, and challenges, and different ways of coping with these changes. So, but doing all of this is not as it's not easy. It's not easy. Okay. Let's try to look at this from the perspective of working from home right now. Okay. Sometimes when we are in the at home, uh, for example, you're doing your work, and then all of a sudden someone spilled coffee on your paperwork. Wow, that's a disaster, right? Or what if someone all of a sudden, when you're sharing a room with your family member, and you're the kind of person who wants things to be organized, and then once you step out of your room, uh, you see that it's not it's chaotic, diba? So the first thing that comes to your mind is you shout, and then you react to situations that are not according to your standards. You you shout at people, say, "Oh, bakit ang gulo-gulo na naman dito?" Diba? So what is happening? Okay, these things that when we shout at people, and then parang all of a sudden we see something that is not pleasing or according to our standards, we find ourselves to be in a situation that starts a conflict. Okay, but let us try to understand first what is really going on. Okay, when one gets mad or shouts or lose control, our bodies and brains are wired together. Keep that in mind. Our bodies and brains are together to react to high stress situations as a safety net. Okay, so meaning when if we if our brain perceives a threat, okay, if our brain perceives a threat, okay, our body tends to tells our sorry when our brain perceives a threat, okay, it signals a part in our brain. It's like a body's alarm system, which tells our body to act without thinking. So we just act right away. For example, if you're trying to heat water, and then all of a sudden you accidentally touch the stove, diba, all of you, ang ang immediate reaction natin is to remove our hand from the hot stove. So that is something that your body acts without thinking. So it responds to situations with a fight, flight, or freeze response. And this is to protect us. But our stress receptors, okay, cannot distinguish between real dangers and false dangers. So in our everyday interaction at home, our stress responses often get triggered and unnecessarily by events, okay, that are not actually life-threatening. Our bodies reacting to our kids' messy room or our spouse, our whoever is in the house. So we react immediately without thinking, in the same way as our body reacts when we are being chased by a mad dog. Okay, so depending on our childhood experiences and memories, our stress responses may be triggered more easily than another person. So when our stress receptors are triggered, we have difficulty thinking clearly and being attentive to people. Okay, keep that in mind. I like to repeat it, when triggered, we have difficulty thinking clearly, okay, and being attentive to people around us. We are unable to be thoughtful in our responses and have trouble staying focused, and our ability to solve problem is diminished. A famous child psychologist, clinical psychologist who studies the brain, explains that during stressful moments, we may lose control and let our emotions control our reactions. And when we let it go, it happens so quickly, we aren't thinking, and just imagine. Okay, we're not thinking, and then just imagine the impact to our loved ones. For example, may magulo sa labas, and then bigla kang sumigaw sa nanay mo o sa tatay mo. Diba? Just imagine your mom seeing you shouting at her or in front of her. So we are not mindful of how they feel or how they are. So for kids at home, our reactions to can be very scary. When a child sees us shouting, it's very scary to them. And keep in mind that a child will act like a child. Okay, kids have different priorities than us adults. Okay, this means that they won't always be able to manage their feelings, and that is okay. Kids are still learning how to regulate their emotions. The problem is when adult begins acting like a child. Sometimes we can't manage our emotions, and we still need to learn how to regulate our emotions. So that's a very major thing among adults like us, right? It's how can you regulate your emotions. So when this becomes a pattern at home, when you shout and then someone shouts at you, kasi sinigawan mo siya, of course, the person will shout back at you. So nagbabatuhan kayo ng mataas na boses, you say bad, hurting words. So it becomes a cycle at home. So there is a pattern already. So the question is, what can I do to help change this pattern? That is our challenge. I check on your si Jello send me your manifesto, and I'm so impressed with your Christitude values. Okay, and one of them is dynamism. It says dynamism is your choice to be creatively successful to achieve greatness, empowered with enterprising force and entrepreneurial spirit, respectfully. Okay, I like the word choice to be creatively successful to achieve greatness. Okay. But this time, we're going to move your perspective, not only in your work, but also let's move it towards our family. So, how can we achieve, okay, the same dynamism, but applying it in our family? Okay. Definitely, we have to change something. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in the situation you're in right now. It's about time. Okay, your creativity, your vitality, your vigor, your drive to pursue your whatever you want to pursue in your business or in your company. Now it's a time to shift and do it the same drive that you have for your family. And we need to be creative, change the ways we do things, right? So our goal is to be I remember let me share with you. A few years back, I had that injury with my one of my fingers. Okay, so I had to put a bandage for a long, long time, and I realized I couldn't write well. I couldn't text. It's hard for me to type in my laptop. It was very uncomfortable for me because one of my fingers was injured, so I had a bandage. And then I realized it's the same thing with our family. When one is sick, okay, other people in their family are also affected. So it is when one is masungit, everyone can feel it, right? When one is mainit ang ulo, they can sense, they're very vigilant, and they're very they don't want to go near you. But when one is happy, it affects the other members in our family. I'd like to share with you. Before the pandemic, I was invited to give a talk with Philippine Air Force in Palawan. I went to Palawan, their air base, and then it was a whole day talk. In the morning, I shared something similar to what I'm sharing right now, and then after the lunch break, the one of the military guy raised his hand and said, Mom, may I share po?" "Yeah, sure." Sabi niya, "You know, Mom, I live outside the camp, the base, and then every lunchtime I would go out and then eat lunch at the home and then come back to go back to work. And then, Mom, ang ginawa ko po when I enter the house, nakasmile po ako." Sabi niya, nakasmile lang ako. And then nagulat po ako, Ma'am. So nagulat po ako kasi first time po, hindi pa ako nagsasalita, pero first time po, yung wife ko, inupuan ako habang kumakain ako. Inantay niya akong matapos. Dati, Ma'am, pagka kumakain ako, ilalagyan niya yung pagkain sa table, and then tatayo na siya, hindi na siya maupuan sa akin. Pero first time, Ma'am, inupuan niya ako. Ang ginawa ko lang po, Ma'am, nakasmile ako. See? That's such a good example to show how much we can affect other people in our family. And that example was just was just using your smile, diba? See how powerful that is. Because together, like in our fingers in our hand, we are a family. We are all somewhat connected. Okay. So I'd like to look at it from a parang ripples of change. Okay. Our goal is to be an agent of positive change at home. If I can try my best to do something better for my loved ones, I am sure it will affect another member of my family, then another member, and another member. Like ripples of change. And that is very, very important for us to keep in mind. It is about time we do something to change things at home. One of the things that we can do is called mindfulness. Okay, I encourage you after this session, if you have spare time, try to research more and Google it in the internet and check about mindfulness. Mindfulness is a process of purposely bringing one's attention to what's happening in the present moment without judgment. It means consciously attending to being here, okay, in this moment right now. Mindfulness is not about thinking about the past and future. But it's just focusing on being mindful of your present. It is to be mindful of the emotions and thoughts that come and go with a curious eye, taking no action about it, neither suppressing them nor holding on to them. It means just accepting them without judgment and letting them be. Okay. So there's an increasing evidence that mindfulness is a good thing. Mindfulness practices have been shown to reduce anxiety and depression and increase coping and various kinds of wellness. Mindfulness is also a potent tool for individuals, especially when they're feeling challenged by someone's attitudes or behavior. So, due to so we can use these skills of mindfulness in applying it in our daily life. Okay, due to limitation of time, I was only given 30 minutes. So sorry, we cannot practice this one, but I strongly encourage you to please research about it. It's very, very nice. So I've been doing it regularly. So when you are in the moment, in the present moment, notice how it starts with being mindful of ourselves. Notice your own feelings when you're in conflict with another person at home. So you try to check, I'm angry today, I'm scared, I'm a little anxious, I feel confused, I feel hurt, I feel annoyed. So naming your emotions is very, very powerful. So try to experience the emotions or trigger as a wave of water. Parang it comes and goes, coming and going. Ang emotions ho, are you are not your emotions. So try not to block or stop the emotion. Don't push it away, don't judge it or reject it. Don't try to keep the emotions around. Don't cling onto it. For example, galit ako ngayon, okay? Tapos isipin mo, 5 o'clock na. Inisip mo, hindi, dapat galit ako, gusto na umalis nung galit. Okay? Hinahawakan mo pa yung galit. Ang galit, nag-stay lang sa'yo, and it doesn't want to stay, gusto na umalis, and then you want it to dwell on it. Diba? So, you don't need to act on your emotions. When you're angry, it doesn't mean you're angry, but you don't need to act on it. Right? So, recognizing it, labeling it, and being aware of it is already the first step. Okay? And then, let them pass without acting on them. Mindfulness also, it's important that you recognize your emotions and then you don't need to act on them. I am angry today. I am so angry right now. Okay? But it doesn't mean that because you're angry, you need to do something, right? You just recognize, I am angry. I'm hurting right now. And then just pause there. So, what can we do when there is tension at home na yung became out of control and then nagsasagutan na kayo? So, what are the things that you can do? First is try to pause before responding in anger. Okay, just be quiet for a while and then pause. It is important to choose to respond instead of react. There's a difference between responding and reacting. The most challenging and the most important part of mindfulness is being able to find that calm space in the heat of the moment. We can find this space by focusing our attention on our body and our breath. And when we slow down and focus on our body and then breath, this leads to a calmer mind. When we are able to pause, we can experience the emotions as sensations in our body without fueling them or by focusing on the trigger. In that space we can find we can find ourselves to being in our thoughts back to the present moment. Okay, right now I am hurting and it's okay, and then choose to respond when we want to and not react because we are out of control. Okay, our objective is to notice when we are not calm and centered, and then bring yourself back to the center before doing any damage. So, what is mindfulness communication? When you check the dictionary, Merriam-Webster dictionary, it's defined as the imparting of or interchange of thoughts, opinions, and information by speech, writing, and signs. Mindfulness communication, on the other hand, is to listen and speak with compassion, kindness, and awareness. Based on the previous definition, there is no mention of compassion or kindness. So, what are the things that we can do? First thing is practice acceptance. Right now, there are many things happening in our family that we do not like. Someone's too impatient, another's too noisy, while another one doesn't want to talk to you, or could be someone that's too messy at home, diba? And no matter how much we wish things were different, they simply are not. There is no doubt that the effects of this pandemic are causing us pain. But our resistance to accepting things as they are adds another layer of discomfort, causing us to suffer. Okay? When we can meet our reality as it is, then that is the moment options become available to us. Right now, it is not easy for us to think that current situation is going to last forever. Like, for example, your mom is being difficult with you, or you, parang, for us to go back to the moment and stay connected to the fact that everything changes, one way to do it is to end these forever feeling statements. by adding the for now or right now. For example, I can't handle my mom's temper all the time. Okay. Or you can say that right now, okay, I can't handle my mom's temper all the time. Okay. Another thing, I can't believe our house will always be messy. Or you can say, I can't believe our house will always be messy for now. Okay. When we return to the present moment, acknowledge the pain and understand that this moment will change and offer ourselves and our family compassion and understanding, we can open up knowing that right now, in this moment, we are all okay. Okay. So be compassionate. When someone is being difficult at home, it means that he or she is hurting in some way. Like, for example, in my family, when I see one of my daughters is being impatient or not in her usual sweetness, I try my best to understand what is really going on with her. Like, usually underneath those upsetting behaviors or issues like meeting a school deadline, exams, or dealing with annoying a professor, or even bad internet connection. But so when you come from it helps me to come from a place of compassion when trying to make sense of it, and maybe even relate to them better. So another thing is allow your inner experience. We have experienced different feelings, disappointments over loss of opportunities in our livelihood. But for you, I'm sure you're so lucky you're in your company. But for most Filipinos, they lost a lot um, um, of potentials for them to earn. You also have maybe you have canceled festive activities, events, or failed plans, or many more. So we experience grief over losses and changes beyond our control. Now, give ourselves, okay, the space and time and permission to feel the ever-changing waves of emotion. And based from experience and research, we know that what we resist persists. So when we stop resisting our emotions and allow ourselves to feel how we feel, we may move through challenges more quickly with greater ease. When we fight what we are feeling, okay, it builds up and often gets expressed in unhealthy ways in our behaviors. And we become the difficult person at home. And we don't want that, right? Another thing, if you in you observe in a regular interaction between people, the form of communication will appear like to fall under the regular definition of communication. One person says one thing and the other person shares thoughts. Most of the time, when someone is asked a question, they answer immediately. They may seem to really think. They may not really think before answering. In order to engage in effective communication using mindfulness, we have to listen mindfully and speak mindfully. So to listen mindfully with mindfulness is one of the things that I would encourage you is, one is try to clear your head. Okay, when someone starts to talk, I'm sure you can apply this in your office also. When you're in your office talking to your employee, your coworker, and this person is parang labeled as very annoying. Sometimes when you put all these things labels at the back of your head, and then you think, oh, here comes this annoying guy, or here comes my sibling who is so annoying. So there's so many things going on. But so when you keep on doing that, you are not really listening because you are already so many things going on inside your mind, and you lost the opportunity to listen to that person. So, so when someone starts to talk, let's do our best to clear our head of any thoughts that are occupying our mind. Remove any sense of judgment about the person who is talking, or as if you know what he or she is about to say. That is not listening with mindfulness. Another thing is create a safe space. It is never easy for someone to open. So let us always be conscious to create that space wherever that other person can feel safe. Make him or her feel that it is okay. I am here for you. Okay. Another thing is maintain eye contact. When someone is talking to you, do not look at your feet or the ceiling or wherever else in your surroundings. Just look into the eyes of the person who is talking. It shows that you care, and wouldn't you want to do the same, diba? When someone talks, when you are the one talking. Another thing is, okay, how do you speak with mindfulness? Um, okay, think before speaking. When someone asks you a question, don't just immediately start talking. Take at least 10 seconds or 20 seconds before you think or more to think about the question and how you want to answer the question. Eventually, when you start answering them, speaking with mindfully, eventually your family members will notice and appreciate it when you take their questions seriously. Yeah? So be mindful of your body language. Look at the pictures. Even when are you really open to listening? Or listening better, you're talking. No, it's okay. You talk to me. At the same time, you're on the phone or playing your game or not really looking at the person. Another thing is the tone of your voice. You can say, "Kumain ka na ba? Kumain ka na ba? Kumain ka na ba?" Okay, those are the same lines, but but notice the tone of the voice. So be mindful of the tone of your voice, the words that come out of your mouth, and also your body language. Choose your words consciously. Painful words can cause more damage than physical pain. Please keep that in mind. I remember there's a line, stick and stones can break my bones, but only words can break my soul. So be aware of the words that come out of your mouth, because your words are very powerful in helping and at the same time in hurting other people. So which one would you like to use your words for? Another thing that we encourage in CEFAM is to be aware of the you message. Because when you say, "Oh, ikaw na naman, ang gulo-gulo na naman. Hindi man naman nilagay yung sack, yung laundry mo sa laundry basket. So, you, ang tamad-tamad mo talaga." It's always you. Conveys blames, accuses, conveys criticism. So, we want to move towards the I message, learning to focus on one's feelings versus on the fault of the other person. So what is the formula for this? First is you state how you feel. I feel hurt. I feel annoyed. I feel confused. I feel, how do you feel? Describe the behavior when you state the reason. Because, for example, I feel worried every time you, like, for example, your parent or your sib or whoever your loved one, among your loved ones, sabi nyo, ang tigas-tigas ng ulo. This person doesn't want to drink her vitamins. So, paulit-ulit ka, ano ka ba? Ang tigas ng ulo mo. Sinabi na uminom ka na ng vitamins mo eh. Kasi importante yan, especially the pandemic. So, hindi iba yung dating, right? So, let's try to change it into, I feel worried every time you don't take your vitamins because your health is important to me. Okay? I feel annoyed every time I see your room messy, because orderliness is important in our family. So the message is, you send the same message, but you state it in a different way, that you focus on your feelings. Because when you hear these words, it is non-threatening. So the person will have the tendency to listen to you. Another thing is, please be generous. When you did something wrong, say, "I am sorry." And when someone says sorry, be easy when you say, "I forgive you." Right? So, another brief to prevent tension at home. Okay, I strongly encourage you to do a daily mindfulness practice. About 10 minutes on mindfulness meditation every day is a great investment of your time. It has been proven to be good for your health and gives us happiness and happiness and good for our well-being, and will actually save you time from repairing problems at home. Another thing is, of course, stay connected with the people that you love. So aside from your work group, okay, stay connected with your barcadas, reconnect with your relatives, and this pandemic should not limit you from interacting with other people. Okay, so another thing is practice gratitude. You are so blessed, okay, because you are in this company that where most Filipinos are having a hard time, and yet you have your job with you. And not only you have a company, Joy Nostalg, there to continue to give you to provide for your livelihood, but They are here, they are very concerned about your well-being. And for them to invite me to be here and spend time about talking about these things and caring about your family, wow, it shows how much the company cares for you. And you are so blessed. So it would be nice if every day you practice gratitude. Today you say, thank you, I have work. Like for us in our family, we always say, thank you, Lord, that no one among us has COVID. Thank you, Lord, that we are not confined in the hospital today. My kids would say, thank you for the good internet connection. Thank you that my gadget worked today. So every day you say something that you are grateful for. Every time someone cooks a good meal for you, you say thank you for that meal and don't take things for granted, right? So making appreciation and gratitude part of our regular routine can help your entire household become more optimistic and relaxed during these trying times. So, um, let's go back. Okay. Right now, everyone in our home is experiencing a lot of challenges, big challenges and adjustments. We have different ways of coping. The uncertainty is still a major concern. Our patience is being tested. Stress is everywhere. When relationships are often put test, let us remind ourselves to go back to the ripples of change. For change to happen, it begins in us. Let us make that conscious effort to be mindful of ourselves in our emotions, in our actions, especially in the way we communicate to one another. Then, when we can minimize tension at home, and eventually it will have its ripple effects in our family, the people we love so dearly. Okay, so it begins with us. I, uh, I'd like to share a nice line, and it says, home is where you are loved the most and also act the worst, right? In Ephesians 4, it says, with humility and gentleness, with patience and bearing with one another, in love, making every effort to maintain unity of the Spirit in the band of peace. And before I end, I'd like to share with you this one. Um, Family is not an important thing, it's everything. Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone.
Thank you so much, Miss Techie, for your very insightful talk. Many of the things you said really hit home for me, literally. Uh, Especially now, given the pandemic, diba? We barely have the luxury of going out, going to different places, traveling. So if we're not outside doing important errands or work, we're at home. And what I realized during the pandemic is that there is so many things I did not know about the personality of the people I live with. I learned more about them in the past 2 years than in my total of years of life. No, and I think being at home with them for this long without leaving the house much uh, taught me how to be patient, understanding, and of course, with myself, taught me to be more conscious and self-aware. And there was actually one thing. Well, many things struck me, but there was one thing that actually stood out. No, you said that sometimes, diba? And it applies at home or in the office or wherever. If you have so much emotions already, if you are frustrated, if you are unpleased, if something happens na hindi mo kagusto-gusto or hindi foreseen, the initial reaction would be to react. It's to express that emotion right away. No? But you
Yeah.
mentioned that the first thing you have to do is to pause, is to think of what to say and how to say it. And I think from personal standpoint, that's only possible if you care and if you care for and respect the people around you. So, kung sa bahay, kung saan man, if you don't want to hurt the person you're talking to, despite their emotions, no, you have to pause. You have to think what to say and how to say it. No, and by doing that, here at home, there's less conflict, diba? There's more mutual understanding. There's more opportunity for dialogue. And I think that's one very important key insight that I myself took from your talk, and that can be applied anywhere in the family, in the workplace, among friends. bago mag-react, bago ang emosyon, reflect muna. What do I say? How to say? Because I don't want to offend or disrespect the person in front of me. So thank you for that, Ms. Techie, no? And of course, among many other things,
Cool.
yes, it's all about connecting, communicating properly with your family members, the people you love and care about. So once again, thank you, ma'am, for those insights, no? And
Welcome, Jello.
at this point, I'd like to introduce one of our panelists. One of our panelists right now, he is the Health and Safety Assistant from the Construction Development Unit. His name is Mr. John Paul Tolibas.
Thank you,
Hi,
sir.
John. Good morning. Can we see
Good
you?
morning.
Hi.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Actually, naiyak po ako nung nagsasalita ka, ma'am. Thank you po talaga sa experience na to kasi po kasi alam po nila Sir Jello na kwento ko nung nasa Yellow Table meeting namin na ako po ay isang working student. At medyo awkward po yung sitwasyon ko sa pamilya dahil 11 years bago ko sila nakasama ulit kasi working student po ako from high school hanggang mag-graduate ng college. Opo. Then, ako po ngayon na may kapatid na 4 years old at actually hindi ko po alam paano mag-adjust sa kanila. Yung sinabi niyo po na be compassionate, lalo sa mga may mga problemado kasi siyempre po yung aking stepfather nag-a-adjust po sa akin habang nakatira sa isang bubong. Nag-a-adjust po sa aking stepfather. Yung awkward moment namin na hindi ko alam kung paano makikisama sa kanila kasi may time na may problema sila na parang nagsisigawan, then I don't know how to adjust, kung paano makakatulong. Yung mga sinabi niyo po kanina na ang daming ideas na pumasok sa aking isipan kung paano makakatulong ngayon na yung pamilya namin is mapabuti lalo. Then yung pinaka-question ko po talaga from the start po, yung sinabi niyo na to regulate the body kung paano mag-respond, not to react. So yung question ko po ngayon, ano po yung pinakamagandang practice para po, example po yung sinabi nyo kanina na kapag ikaw ay napaso, bigla mong ilalayo yung kamay mo. Ano po kaya yung pinaka-the best way para maturuan ko po yung sarili ko para po ako yung mga pag-adjust sa mga sudden situation, mga emergency, para po ako ay tama yung aking respond. Opo, yun po yung aking pinaka. Yes, ma'am. Tsaka sa pangalawa po, for compassionate po, paano po kaya na yung aking mama, yung aking stepfather, yung aking kapatid, in case po na may problema sila, bukod sa open space, yung safe space na kaming dalawang mag-uusap, at sa eye contact na sinabi niyo po kanina, ano pa po kaya ibang practice na pwede kong gawin para yung aking mama, yung aking kasama sa bahay, stepfather, and my brother, my little brother po, paano ko po open up sila sa akin na yung mga problema nila masabi nila sa akin. What is the best way po?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, John Paul. Ang ganda ng sharing mo, ha. I'm glad na marami kang napulot during the talk. Okay. The first one is you talk about ano ba yung mga ways paano ba makakatulong lalo na para mas mag-open up yung mga tao. I'll answer the second question first. When you listen to people, okay, when they see that you are seriously and attentively listening to the person, okay, nagiging siyang healing process for the other person to express. Ang laki ng tulong yun okay? Kasi maraming tao, marami naman tayong kausap, pero iba yung alam mong kaibigan mo or someone na nakikinig at naintindihan ka. Bihira yun. Okay? So, as simple as nagluluto yung mama mo or yung stepfather mo nandun sa bahay, nag-aayos ng whatever, and then magkukwento lang siya, o nga, nahirapan ako kanina, bumili ng mga gamit, kaya ganyan. Makinig ka lang, look straight in the eye, huwag kang naka-cellphone, just attentive. Sabi niya, paano ko kayo nahirapan? Anong nangyari kanina? So you ask more questions, okay? It shows that when you are listening, you're attentive, and you are interested in what the story of the person. Okay? Kasi it builds up hindi naman siya instant. So unti-unti siya, every day, you build on it. Pagka nagkakaroon na ng impression sa kanila na parang, uy, yung anak ko, interesado talaga sa akin. Hindi siya nagmamadali kasi meron siyang office deadline, pero pinaprioritize na makinig sa akin. Okay? Yun, nagbi-build up yun. Eventually, pagka meron silang problema, it can be your father-in-law, your stepfather, or your mom, or your brother. Pagka meron silang problema, they will feel it is safe to talk to kuya or to John Paul. Ganon eh. Kasi feeling nila, you will not judge, you will listen. And when the person is able to express, that is very helpful. When the person feels that he or she is being listened to, that starts the healing. Eh. Okay? And it does a lot of things in the relationship. That yun pa lang gawin mo lang everyday, malaking effect na yan. Eh. Believe me, malaki na yung changes na makikita mo out of that. So the second one is question mo is paano gagawin pagka yung parang pagka merong nangyayari immediately, how to react, parang ganon. Tama ba yung question mo? Okay. If tayo nagre-react, don't worry, chill lang tayo because that is normal to everyone. Lahat tayo, okay? We are designed like that. Now, for example, pagka merong tatawid sa karsada, natakot ka, ang tendency mo is magulat, atras ka. Okay? That we are designed to protect ourselves. Eh. That's part in our brain that tells us, oops, there's danger. Okay? Ang problema lang kasi, if pagka meron ka nakita na hindi mo gusto, oops, yung alarm system natin na nasa brain natin, nagta-turn on din. Sasabi, oops, there's danger. Ang problema, yung split seconds na yun, hindi na tayo nag-iisip. Is it really dangerous or it's not? So, ang nangyayari, nakita mo lang na merong nag-spill. For example, yung madumi yung kwarto. Paglabas mo, ang reaction mo, oops, parang about na merong babangga sa'yo, gaganyan ka, diba? Or magre-react ka pagka nakita mo yung aso, biglang tatakbo o sisigaw ka, diba? Pero pagka nakita mo magulo yung kwarto, ang tendency, so biglang nag-on agad yung sa brain natin para mag-react. Okay? So hindi niya alam na hindi pala dangerous yung maduming kalat. Diba? So that's why it is normal. That's what I'm saying. Hindi ka mainitin ng ulo kung nagre-react ka. Pero ang tinuturo natin ngayon is knowing that we are designed in such a way na nagre-react tayo agad. Kailangan let's try to be in control of it. Kasi kung parati tayong magre-react every time meron ka nakikitang di maganda, magiging chaotic sa bahay. So, the way to do it is one is you pause. Pause ka muna. Oops. And then pause ka lang. Oops, ay! And then, instead of, ano bang ginawa mo? Tahimik ka lang muna. So, importante na itindihan mo yung mind mo. Hindi yung sasabihin, ang kalat-kalat. Kasi pagka sinabi, ang kalat-kalat na naman dito, pumapasok na naman sa utak mo. Pero kung sabi mo, oops, nagulat ako kasi hindi maganda yung nakikita ko. Ganon. Kung naiintindihan natin, mas magiging in control tayo. So one of the things that you can do is you pause first. Pagka meron nakipagsigawan sa'yo sa bahay o nagsisigawan, so ang tendency talaga is nagagalit ka to react. Kasi we are designed to react di ba? So that's why you pause. Because we know if we do not pause, magsasabi ka ng mga words that are hurting. So it becomes a cycle at home. Diba? Nagbabatuhan. So which is what we want. But that is what we want to stop. Diba? And this is very challenging to do, especially kung sanay na tayo na ganun parate. Diba? It's not easy to do these things. So it takes practice. The important thing is we already know. I think that is my objective today. For all of us to be aware of this and do something about it. Okay ba yun? Mm-mm.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much po.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. And before we continue, John Paul, thank you so much for opening your story to us. It takes courage. It takes guts to share your personal story and experiences. And I'm sure many of our listeners, and myself included, we learned so much from you, pare. So thank you so much, bro. We have our second panelist. Our panelist is... His name is Mr. Ian Cañaveral. He is the Quantity Survey Officer from the Land Investment Unit. So, hi, Ian. Good morning.
Hi, Ian.
Hello. Good morning po. Good morning, Mr. Techie.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, ayun po. Maganda po yung topic natin ngayon, ma'am. Kasi ako po talagang nakarelate ako. Kasi ako personally, I tend to get very anxious. So, lagi po ako ina-anxiety and lalo na pagka work from home, so parang nakaka-aggravate siya sa pagiging anxious ko. So, totoo na parang na-stress ka, na nag-overthink po ako na laging baka may mali akong nagawa, ganyan, or parang lahat ng problema na darating hindi ko kayang masolusyonan. So parang kakaroon talaga ng totoo na parang nagkakaroon ka ng difficulty, thinking clearly and being attentive. So parang dumarating na sa point na nag-aaway na po kami ng mga kapamilya ko. Kasi po sa bahay, kasama ko yung brother ko and sister ko, tsaka yung father ko. So parang even the smallest, na mali sa bahay, nag-outburst na po ako agad. Parang nagiging mainitin po ang ulo. So parang at the end of the day, hindi na ako makatulog kasi parang nandun na yung feeling ng guilt na bakit naging ganun yung attitude ko towards sa kanila. So dapat hindi pala ganun. So parang na-realize ko na importante po yung mindfulness skills na i-strengthen talaga kasi nakakatulong po talaga siya na parang maging calm and composed. Parang nare-realize mo yung emotion mo and nalilesen mo yung stress at hindi mo maipasa sa iba. Parang gano'n po. And isa pa po na tumatak sa akin is yung mindfulness practices. So practice self-care and stay connected sa friends because dati po kasi hindi ako talaga active pagdating sa mga friends ko. So ngayon natutunan ko na kailangan ko siyang i-practice. So gagawin ko po talaga siya. Saka isa pa pong na tumatak sa akin is yung si JNG po na tumutulong sa ating well-being. Totoo po siya kasi whenever na papasok ako sa office, nakikita ko po yung mga ka-team ko, pati mga ka-department ko. Nakikita ko na parang ang lakas po ng kanilang mindfulness skills. Lagi po nilang sinasabi sa akin na huwag ka mag-alala, na kaya mo yan, walang problema na walang solusyon, yung mga ganun po. So parang in a way na nalilesen po yung stress ko. Kailangan ko rin, na-realize ko na kailangan ko rin palakasin yung, hindi lang yung mindfulness listening ko, pati yung mindfulness speaking ko. Para, para hindi maging rude. I won't come out as rude or rash para sa iba. So yun lang po. Yeah, ma'am. Thank you po. Helpful po yung topic niyo, ma'am. Thank you po. Nakatulong po talaga siya.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, sir. I'd like to add something. Okay, Ian, when you feel a little anxious, you feel a little stressed, I'd like to say that it is normal right now. It's okay to be a little anxious, to be stressed, be fearful, or you worry. Kasi keep in mind, we are all in a situation that is not normal. So being stressful or anxious is a normal reaction to an unnatural situation we're in right now. Okay? So, but if it becomes too unmanageable, parang it's too much, that's the time you ask for help. But what's so nice is that nakakita ka ng mga ways on how to help your situation right now. And good luck. Good luck. I'm so happy na nakatulong sa'yo. Okay. Yes, thank you, Ian.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. And Sir Ian, thanks again for just like John Paul, opening up and sharing with us bits of your personal experiences. So I learned a lot from you as well, and thank you so much. So to wrap this up, I'd like to thank John Paul and Ian for being with us this morning. And of course, especially Ms. Techie. Ma'am, we learned so much from you. Things I know the talk was meant for the family context, but many things we learned from your talk can be applied anywhere and everywhere to anyone. No, so it all boils down to maintaining proper communication, as thinking before speaking, and more importantly, cura personalis, simply personal care or care for those around you, concern for people around you. It's respect and its sensitivity. So with that, thank you, Ms. Techie. And before anything else, ma'am, would you like to say a few words before we end our program?
Okay. First is, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you, binigyan niyo ako ng pagkakataon. Thank you for this chance to be with you this morning and to impart you these messages, and hopefully that you can do something about it. I don't want it to be just like any other seminars that you've attended. hopefully what I imparted to you today, you'll be able to use it in your homes, because that's my personal goal. My personal goal is to help your families, okay, especially during this pandemic. So you are so blessed. You belong in a company that really cares, and don't take that for granted. Okay, thank you, and good morning to everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Techie. Take care, ma'am. Stay safe, and we hope to see you again very soon. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jello. Thank you.